Hello. Hello. Hi, Marianne. Nice to have you here. Carol, good morning. Sophia, nice to have you. I'm not sure if I've met you before. Sharon, hello. Okay, my email server went a little crazy today and it sent out 5 emails within a 2-hour period. I'm so sorry. Um, so, Marianne, anything that you would like me to know about you? So, I'm assuming you may have osteoporosis. Is there anything else you want me to know? And then also Sophia, and sorry if you have been here before and I just don't know. All right. So, what's going on, ladies? Um, how are you feeling? I have a virus, the virus, and I'm also detoxing. So, I think I have this double whammy of things going on for me. Um, Let me see. Osteoporosis, yes. Okay. Anything else? Anything you need to be careful of? Any issues or injuries or anything like that? Or particular areas that are more precarious for you than others? So whether that's from an injury or something you've been told to avoid. That's what I wanted to know. So I am in this 26-day detox that I do every year at the beginning of the year. And typically when I do this detox, there's definitely a shift in behaviors, a shift in food. And so I would normally feel a little kind of off. And then double whammy, I got virus at the same time. So I'm not sure which is which, what feelings are a part of what. But that said, I still am focused on healthy bones, healthy aging, and took 3 weeks off at the holidays. So have to show up every single day. And the thing is the more we demand from our bones on a daily basis, the more they respond by being stronger for us. And I know that to be true with what I experience in my life and what many of you do as well. All right. So let me see. Perimenopause. Oh, you just got to love perimenopause. When I started having perimenopause, I used to think this is what I thought during perimenopause, that I think that a lot of the women that were burned at the stake at the Salem witch trial might have been in perimenopause. Because when you start losing your hormones and your body starts shifting in that way, there's a lot of it's hard to manage that. And then you come into menopause and what that brings. And quite often, unfortunately, that brings osteoporosis for many. 55% of people over age 50 have bone density issues. 27% of the population of women over 65 have osteoporosis. So these are things that we have to figure out what we're doing and how to manage that. Okay. All right. All right. So this is going to be my 9th year of teaching yoga for osteoporosis. And actually, Sharon, who's here, and Carol have been with me, I think, for probably 8 years, which is amazing. And if you were to see them, you can't see each other, but I know who's here. Carol and Sharon have a very strong practice and actually have had DEXA scan shifts over the years, which has been really amazing. Either stopping in some areas of their body or improving. I hope that's okay, Carol and Sharon, that I share that because it's pretty special. And, I just had this thought yesterday that I really think this question that we ask about, can we reverse osteoporosis, is really the wrong question. That it's such a multifaceted, loaded topic. And our bone remodeling and our bone density is not something that changes quickly over months. It's something that it's years and it's a lifestyle that you adopt. And so the two big things that are going to build bones, one of them is the physical stimulation, pulling and pushing on the bones correctly, weight bearing, right? That's one. And the other is having the proper nutrients. So we are here today to create the appropriate stressors, to create bone building stimulation, and that's what we do. And then the side benefits are you get stronger balance, more range of motion, more flexibility, and all of that. Yeah, it's true, right? I mean, Sharon has shifted her DEXA scan scores, and people ask me that. So people say to me, what are the, like, what have people done? And, it's a 2-year process from one DEXA scan to the other. And there's so many factors. Like, can you say at your DEXA scan, oh, it's because I did yoga 2 days a week or 3 days a week or 5 days a week for the last 2 years? Or is it because I also did this and did this and did this and did this? And there's so many things that lead to it. All right. So Marianne and Sophia, even if you hear my voice and whoever else is here, I'm going to guide this class, but you really listen to the internal voice, because the work that we do in this class, especially yoga for osteoporosis, is we do some strong stimulation, and you want to make sure that you're in the right zone in your joints when you're doing that you're aligned properly and creating the appropriate forces for your body and your bones. All right, I'm going to go back there. I will not be able to see anything anymore because I take my glasses off, number one, and because I'm pretty far away. So I'm going to come back here to my space. All right. So for today's class, Yoga for Osteoporosis, creating as much bone building stimulation as you can safely and strongly is the goal. The postures that I teach, it's the shape that we bring into our body, the way that we bend our body, the way we load down into our body that creates the stimulation, more demand on your body, your bones, your muscles, so that your body reacts by laying down more tissue, more muscle tissue, more bone tissue. And so you want to do it safe and effective, and you want to be careful because we are in the joints, and you want to make sure that you're in tune with your body when you're doing this, which is why I begin the class with us getting connected to our internal self. So we're going to come down onto the ground. We're going to do a chest opener. This is a way to add a back bend. So we spend most of our day in a forward position, and this can lead to spinal wedge fractures. We really want to bring this nice posturally aligned erect position into our body. So the beginning posture we're going to do is a supported back bend, and I'm going to give you a couple of options depending on what props you have available to yourself. So the basic props you're going to need for the class is a blanket, a block, and a strap. And if you didn't have a block and a strap, you could have a blanket and a towel, like maybe a bath-sized towel. So those are the things you're going to need. And then the first part of class, we're going to do a supported back bend. If you only have these 3 props, you could take your blanket and roll your blanket up in a blanket or a towel or something like this. And this will be what supports your spine to bring in that chest expansion, to stretch the chest, the shoulder muscles, to open up this part of your body, which is good because we want to stretch the front of our spine, especially if we have osteoporosis. But it's also good because it allows for more breath to come in. And breath is part of detoxification, and breath is also how our body internally creates energy. The cells need oxygen to make energy. So it helps biochemically and physiologically when you put yourself in this position with breath. And then from a physical musculoskeletal perspective, it's going to stretch our chest and stretch our shoulder, and especially stretch the front of the spine. So if you only have a block and a strap and a blanket, fold your blanket up like this and put your blanket on the floor. And this is going to go behind your spine. So that's for those that have these props. I actually want to do a deeper chest expansion today. And so I am going to use blocks. And I've got a block called the 3-minute egg, which I really think is fantastic for getting that supported back bend. That's really important. And if you do use this block, you're going to need one for your head as well, either here or here. If you did have 2 rectangle blocks, you could put a rectangle block behind your heart and let that be what facilitates this back bend shape. We're going for a back bend. So however it happens for you, it could be a blanket rolled up, it could be blocks. But we want to open up the front of our body, open our chest, stretch the front of the spine. And that's very, very important for bone health. So we're going to come down into the ground. So notice where your mental energy is. We're going to bring ourselves down to stimulate the healing, bone building zone of the body and to bring ourselves to this present moment. Because that is when your body can build bone tissue, is when you are in the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system. So coming down with osteoporosis, you want to make sure the front of your spine stays nice and safe. You bring yourself down onto your block or your blanket or whatever it is you have underneath you. The apex of the block should be right behind your heart. So you want that to be where the most pressure is, whether it's a block or a blanket. And then if you have the rolled up blanket, having that rolled up blanket on your spine is good. Keep your eyes open at first. So the eyes are open so you can convey safety to your body that here you are and here you've arrived. And then the knees are bent, feet are flat. Have your feet be a little wider than your body. And then notice what you notice when you're here. Notice if you feel tension, bringing this stretch into your thoracic spine. This is the least flexible part of the spine, the thoracic, where the ribs are attached. So we're trying to stretch the front of the spine. So have your arms relatively close to your body right now so that your spine can receive this. Feel your core. Then close your eyes. Close your eyes, feel the soles of the feet on the ground. Feel your knees falling in towards each other. Bring your arms out to the side. So maybe they go straight out from your armpit area. And maybe that's okay for you. Let your hands rest on the ground. Or if it's too much of a sensation of pulling, you could bend your elbows closer to your waist or slide your hands down a little bit. So close your eyes and feel your way into what's appropriate. Now, one thing about this kind of stretching as well is it can actually be very exposing for the nervous system. So sometimes being in this position here can cause a release of emotions. So just being very aware of what is happening to your body when you put yourself in this position. What's happening physically, and then maybe exploring what's happening mentally and emotionally. And let's do a little to warm up these muscles. Let's take an exhale and slide your elbows down towards your waist, palms are up towards the sky. And then inhale as you bring your fingers up overhead. Exhale, bring your elbows towards your waist. And inhale, hands go up ahead, palms are up towards the sky. Exhale, elbows towards your waist. Go slow and close your eyes. See if you could feel any movement of joints, so any spinal movement here. Notice what your armpits feel like, your shoulders. You inhale when your hands come up. You exhale when the elbows come down. And then bringing yourself so that your arms are out to the side. Let's do a little with the neck here. Now, depending on what your head is resting on. If you are on a blanket, there's a downward movement if you're in a rolled up blanket. So I want you to be in your head and neck here. And if you do have any issues in your head or neck, and this feels unsafe to your neck, then don't do it. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly let your head move towards one direction, slow. Inhale back up to center. Exhale the other direction. And inhale back up. Moving with breath, exhaling into the stretch, releasing into the stretch, and inhaling back to center. Feel the weight of your head on the prop to feel safe. One more each direction. And then bring yourself back to center. Your eyes are closed. Let your awareness go down your body to notice where the tightness is. Notice where the stretch is happening. And then keep your mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose. And as you breathe in and breathe back to your spine. And then as you breathe in these next couple of breaths, breathe into your spine all the way down to your tailbone. Let your awareness follow you down to your tailbone. The breath down to the tailbone. Noticing what you notice along the way. So I'd like us to do the breath of peace, bringing peace into your body and into your mind. The breath of peace is an equal inhale and equal exhale. So let's use the number 5 for the breath of peace. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Take a big exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue counting in your own mind. Give your mind something to do with counting. Notice the breath, feel the breath moving in your body, and count. Counting 5 on the inhale, 5 on the exhale. Keep your mind on your breath. For these last couple of breaths, as you count 5 and 5, feel your chest expand as much as it can with breath, the whole rib cage area. Breathe even deeper to get more stretch in your ribs, your chest. Finishing your last breath. Bring your awareness to your fingers, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. If you'd like to explore straighten the legs, you could straighten the legs and reach the arms overhead. Push the heart up towards the sky. This is a supported back bend, a very healthy shape for the body, especially if you have osteoporosis. Feel the front of your spine open. Feel the ribs moving away from the pelvis. Feel the stretch in the abdominal area. That's the area that gets really tight from sitting, from moving forward, looking forward, doing everything forward. And that is where spinal wedge fractures occur, is the front of the spine, right near that lower rib area. So stretch your spine, stretch your torso, flex your wrists, flex your feet, reach through the heels of the hands, the heels of the feet. Reach long, stretch your body. Keep your mouth closed, breathe in and out through your nose, breathe down to your belly. And then bending your elbows slowly, bending your knees. We're going to come onto the side. So you're going to roll off whatever you're on onto your side. Cradle your head in your arm. Come onto the side. And then gently blink your eyes open and notice how you feel. Notice if there is a heaviness or a calm feeling that you're feeling after doing the breath, the present moment awareness, and using the nostrils to breathe, to relax the airways, and to bring in as much breath as possible. Take your hand. We're going to push ourselves up from the ground. So we're going to take the top leg. The top leg is going to be a little bit of a piston action to help. You're not going to let your head pull you up or your back pull you up. You're going to push and use your pushing muscles. So take your hand on the ground, take your elbow on the ground, bring your knee in, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, push and bring yourself up. The way we move every day when we have osteoporosis matters. The way we sit, the way we stand, the way we move, the way we practice yoga matters. We do not want to collapse or put pressure in the front of the body. So definitely a very opening beginning of the practice to bring in more space in the front of the body, space in the spine. Let's get ready for the movement part of the practice. So bring your blanket onto your mat, doing whatever you can do and focusing more on what I can do versus what I can't. So each posture has an end range of motion, the deepest bend, the deepest stretch, but you need to find where in that pathway is the right way, the right place for your body. So let's bring in some movement into the body and start to explore where we're at, what feels appropriate for us, being very in tune with your body. That's how you stay safe if you have osteoporosis and you're practicing yoga. Or even if you don't have osteoporosis, that's how you stay safe practicing yoga, is being very aware. So come on to all fours, noticing here, how are your wrists? How are your hands? Start to push yourself back and forth. And if you do have wrist issues and you need to modify, you could take your hands forward, pointing the pointer fingers forward, so there's less bend in your wrists. And if you don't have issues, I would recommend that you bend your wrists as much as possible and put as much weight in them as possible to strengthen them. Spread your fingers and push your fingers into the ground and wiggle your body side to side. Now start to push the hip the most. So push the hip, let it be the hip that really moves. You'll start to feel the side of your hip joint stretching. And then bring your head forward and look forward, looking up from the ground. This is going to bring a little tension into the head and neck. So make sure that's appropriate. If you have head and neck issues, maybe this is not okay for you. So if that's the case, then point the nose straight down towards the ground and be in a neutral cervical spine. Bring your body weight back to center, moving yourself back, feeling how your body weight went away from the wrists, and then bring yourself forward. Feel how the body weight goes into the wrists. Go back slowly, the body weight leaves the wrists, it comes into the glutes. Do you feel that? Right where your legs attach to your body? And then go slow forward. Doing a little bit to stretch the lower back. When you come forward, now push the belly button up towards the spine. Try to point the tailbone down towards the ground, flexing the lumbar spine, the lower back, not the thoracic though. Keeping your head looking forward. That'll stretch the low back. Bring yourself forward and bring yourself into a back bend, pushing your heart down. Exhale, push your belly button up towards your spine, tailbone down. Inhale forward. And exhale back. One more. And then bring yourself all the way up. Really important to work on grip strength and wrist strength, something we don't do often. I mean, I don't know if I would ever do this if it wasn't for yoga. Maybe if you're at the gym, there's some ways that they work on wrist strength. But actually weight bearing on the wrist is pretty profound for strengthening the wrists. So bring yourself onto your shins, come here. This is a mountain posture, a posture of alignment. Finding alignment, reach down with your hands, take an exhale. Inhale to reach up, let your gaze go up. And then exhale, turn your palms down, let your gaze come down. For those of you with shoulder joint issues, pay attention to how your shoulders feel here. Palms are up, fingers are reaching long. Reach, reach, reach as you move up. Feel the belly stretch. Very important place to stretch if you have osteoporosis is that middle abdominal area. Inhale and exhale. Let's go side to side. Inhale up and exhale down. Let your arm be long and reach long. You're not just casually lifting your arm up here. You're reaching your arm up, lengthening the side of the body, lengthening the spine and bending the spine sideways. So you're going to compress the discs from side to side and stretching the muscles of the core, of rotation, of structure and balance and alignment. And then bring yourself back to center. So if you have socks on, I have socks on, I want to take them off for this. So we're going to come into a side stretch, We're going to come into a side stretch and start stretching our hip joint. So you want your foot to be out to the side. You want it to be on the mat so you have that grip, reaching your leg out to the side. So you're weight bearing on this leg. You're going to put compressive force in this hip capsule. And then you've got your leg out to the side. So we're starting to introduce movement into our hip and we're going to start to stretch the side of the hip joint. So point your toes forward. And this is also stretching the ankle. So we want the more limber the joints are, the more dance there is in the joints if you slip, trip, or fall. So for fall prevention, which is important for fracture prevention, important for bone health, we need to have limber ankles. So see how this feels. See if you can be pretty perpendicular with the leg bone and the foot. Grab the floor, lift the arch off the floor, then bring your awareness right here to your hip. You could even put your hands here. And start to bend this hip a little bit more as you move your pelvis to the side. Go slow at first. You'll feel those muscles stretching as you add a little bit of lateral flexion into that hip joint. But this is actually the side of my body that I have a hip replacement. So the more awareness you have in your body, the safer you'll stay when you're doing your practice. So this is my hip replacement side, and I'm always so aware, especially when I'm on that posterior hip capsule. When you get your DEXA scan reading, this is part of the body they look at, that greater trochanter. So come into this position where you have as much of a bend here as your body can have. Your toes are pointing forward. Take your hand on your leg, long spine, lifted heart. Take your hand down alongside your body and move your thumb to the side or towards the back. This is going to externally rotate your shoulder, allow a little bit more mobility in the shoulder. And even those of you with shoulder issues, when you do this, you may even have more range of motion when you do that. Exhale. As we inhale, we're going to slide the hand down the leg, lift the opposite hand up. Keep your gaze forward. Don't look down. This is not about how high up you go. This is about how can you effectively bend in the hip, laterally in the spine, and you'll maybe feel your ankle stretch as well. Reach long with the hand in the air, as if you're reaching for something and are just able to almost grab it. Long, long spine. Tailbone down towards the ground. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Stretching the lateral side of the body. This is really good for back bends when we do some of the back bending postures in the practice. Take your foot to the side, directly to the side of your body. Stretching the ankle joint, bringing your awareness to the hip as you start to move your hip. Noticing, what does this side feel like compared to the other? And see if you can let your awareness go to your hip joint. So you start to make that relationship and that connection. And then find the deepest place you could be in the hip where you feel effective stretching. Pelvis tilted slightly backward, so tailbone is down towards the ground. Take your hand on your thigh, other hand out to the side. Reach back with your thumb, exhale. And then inhale, reach your hand up, slide your hand down your leg. Noticing where you feel the stretch and making sure it feels appropriate. Lift your heart. And then let your gaze be lifted. So notice where you feel the stretch. Maybe here between the rib cage and the pelvis, or maybe you feel it deep in the hip flexor muscles, psoas, some of the core muscles. Maybe you feel a lot of stretch there at your lateral hip. Reaching down with your fingers, up with your hand. Starting to pull on the pelvic bone. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up, bring yourself out, back to mountain, which is a posture of alignment, stacking your joints from your knees, your hips, your pelvis, your spine, your shoulder girdle, and then your head. And take your hands, move your hands. Look at your hands, 27 bones, 27 joints. Make sure you're bending all of them. So let's do another warm up for the front of the body and the back of the body. We're going to move through front and back stretching. So take your hands forward and wide. Take your knees back onto your blanket. And then bring your pelvis closer to the floor. Let your gaze be up. Stretching the belly. Feel that deep stretch in the belly. Inhale. As you exhale, bending your hip joint. So bring your awareness to your hip. Bring your belly closer to your top thighs. Keep pushing belly to top thighs, belly to top thighs, belly to top thighs, as far back as you'll go, and then inhale to come forward. Inhale, exhale, bending the hip joint and unbending the hip joint. Keep your head lifted. Let your head look up. Really stretch the front of the belly when you do this. This helps to take sitting out of your body. This is all hip. And bringing in a back bend stretch. One more. And then bring yourself up. Come all the way up. Shake your wrists. So we're going to do a plank posture. And you could decide that you could either do the plank on your arms, your hands, or if you have wrist issues, you could come down onto your forearms. So I like to hold plank for a minute. You can hold as long as you'd like. 30 seconds is the desired number that we go for bone stimulation, and then anything else is extra points, extra bone building stimulation. So let's take one foot back and stretch the heels through the heel, and then the other. So when your joints are stacked in a line, that's when you're going to stay the safest when you do a posture. So bring your hands directly underneath your shoulders, pointer fingers are forward. Let's take one foot back and then the other. If you need to stay in the modified version, you could leave your knees on the ground and your shins. And if you need to be in the forearm version, do that. Bring your awareness to your toes. Press the left toes, all of them into the ground. The right toes, all into the ground. And then bring your awareness to the center of your heels and push back strongly through your heels. So you'll feel a little extra calf stretching. And then push your feet into the ground and try to draw your feet up towards your hands. Feel that deep activation of the core muscles in the front of the body. And then bring your awareness to your hands. Spread your fingers, press your fingertips into the floor a lot. And then push away from the ground with the hands. And then try to slide the hands towards the feet. And then bring yourself down. Take your wrists, shake your wrists. So this next thing we're going to do, Dr. Lauren Fishman, that is proving that yoga reverses bone density loss. This posture, it's not really a yoga posture, but this is a way for us to stretch our wrists so that we can have a lot of play in them in case we do slip, trip, or fall and need to break our fall. So coming into a seated position, you could do this where your tushy is on a block. So for those of you that have bendable knees, you can have your tushy on a block, supported. It's called a supported hero's posture. It's actually a really nice posture for the spine, but this is only for those of you that still have that knee flexion available. If you don't have knee flexion, then come into a crisscross leg position or a position that's comfortable. Bring your hands forward. Turn your thumbs down to the ground, the backs of the hands towards each other. Take the left wrist over the right wrist and clasp your hands. And notice what's happening to the shoulders. Did you have shoulder earrings? Lower your shoulders. And then slowly bring the wrist down, through, and up so that you feel tension on that left wrist. The way to develop more tension is push the hands away from your body. Don't let them rest on your chest. Try lowering the hands, moving the elbows out to the side, to the place where you feel a lot of tension. And breathe. And then to release, slowly release. Noticing that tension, that's a lot of rotational force in that left wrist. And when we pull on the bones with stretching, that's one of the ways we strengthen bones is by pulling on them and creating stress for them to remodel. Back of the hands are together, thumbs are down towards the ground. Lift the right wrist over the left wrist. Keep your arms straight. Clasp your hands so the palms are touching. And then slowly spreading the elbows, bringing the hands down, through, and up. When you're here, either lowering the arms or moving the elbows away from each other, push the hands away from your body. Bringing your awareness to the right hand and feeling that rotational force that you're creating in the hands. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Quite a bit of tension there in the wrists. So far what we've done, a lot of this weight bearing in the wrists is great for strengthening the wrists and the hands, and that's really important for bone health. So let's move on to a seated position, taking your blanket, fold your blanket. Now, if you do happen to be on the tighter side, the higher the fold, the better this is going to be for you. So maybe folding your blanket in two or maybe even double that so that you're a little bit more elevated. Bring your strap to the side and your block. And then you're going to come and sit on the edge of your blanket. So you want to be at the edge of the blanket. So you're not at the very back, you're at the edge. You almost feel like you're falling forward. And then reach down and grab a hunk of flesh so that you expose your sits bones. You feel your pelvis, and that gives you this nice upright position. Take your block and bring your block in between your legs. And then grab your strap. So we're going to do a posture called Dandasana, staff posture, and this is a posture of alignment. So you're going to take your strap and let your strap get down to your feet. Slide your hands back so your elbows come underneath your shoulders. And you could wrap your hands around if you'd like. Squeeze your block, press your legs into the ground, pull on the strap, lengthen your spine, lift your heart. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Squeeze the block, push out on the strap. Push your legs down into the ground. Feel how that gives you a little extra lift. Gaze is straight in front of you. And then you could either come out completely or you could release the strap, squeeze the block, press your legs down, bring your arms into a scarecrow position. Try to keep them alongside your body. And then look to the side to have your arms elevated up towards your shoulders if you can. So lifting the arms up, making sure that the joints are stacked, that the wrist is on top of the elbow, looking side to see if that's happening. Push your legs down again, squeeze that block, lift your heart. Take one more breath. And then slowly bringing yourself out. So a lot was happening there. Maybe you noticed the work of the quadriceps to hold you in this position. Take your legs wide. Let's come into a relaxation position. Bring your block in front of you. I say relaxation position, but for those of you that are tight, this will actually probably be maybe some pretty strong stretching in your legs. So the Dandasana staff posture that we just came out of strengthens our quadriceps. And this muscle group here, really important for bone health, because the bigger and stronger this muscle is, the bigger and stronger your femur bone will be, which is where your hip is. So working on strengthening legs is really important for bone health. Paying attention to the front of your spine, always making sure that you are not collapsing, that you're always lifted, lifting your lower ribs away from collapsing. So let's move on to a twist. And before we go into this, I know that there's information out there that twisting is unsafe. And There's research also that says that it's the most effective way to strengthen the spine. So twisting would be unsafe if you were collapsed and then you twisted. But if you are lengthened and you twist your rib cage, lower, middle, upper, that is when we stay safe, when we're rotating our spine. So let's go to the left side first. Take the block on the floor behind you. Bend the left leg. And hold on to the left leg with both hands so you can get really tall in your spine. And then take your right hand, hold your left leg, and your right arm, the elbow stays bent. And this is very active. Don't let this collapse. You're not just hanging out here. You're not rounding and hanging out. You're elevated. You're holding on. You're really in a nice aligned position here. Take your hand on this floor behind you. Push down and feel how you can get tall. Now, active right leg, active left. Press them into the ground to get tall. Take an exhale. Inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate to the left. Lift your heart, lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Press the shoulder blades forward to lift your heart. And right elbow is lifted. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Still stay pretty lifted in your torso as you bring yourself to the other side. So push the block over, keeping your gaze high, your head high, straighten left leg, bend right. Hold onto the right leg to get tall. So bring that length into your spine, holding on to that right leg with that left arm and the block on the hand on the block or the hand on the floor, depending on your arm length. And then very active feet, active left leg, active right. Press down to get tall. Take an exhale. Then inhale your lower ribs, inhale your middle ribs, and then your upper ribs to rotate. Push your shoulders down, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Press the shoulder blades forward to lift your heart. Active feet, active left arm. Very active, and the whole time in this, you're asking for more. And you're feeling the level of safety for you and your body and what you know about yourself. Push down, get tall. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself out. Take your legs forward, shake your legs. If the wide leg stance is comfortable for you, come into that. You can put a block between your legs so you can push down and be tall. You want to make sure that you do not round your spine. And then notice here in this position, do you have tightness in your inner thigh muscles or in your hamstrings? And this can show you maybe some areas to work on to increase flexibility. And bring yourself back to center. Clear your space. Move your props off to the side, except the blanket. Bring the blanket onto the mat. Come onto your shins, letting your body calibrate here. Bring one foot forward. Flip the back toes under. Make sure that forward foot, that the ankle is more forward of the knee, not closer to your body. Take your hands on your thighs. Look forward and up. Let your body weight go back. And then move forward. Push away from the floor and bring yourself forward and up. We're going to prepare our space to do some standing practice. So you want to make sure when you bend down to get your blanket that you bend your hip joint, not your spine. That's how we move safe when we practice, or actually that's how you move safe throughout your whole day. Everything you do should be bending at your hip and not at your spine. So when they say with osteoporosis, no forward folding, what they really mean is do not forward fold your spine, but you do want to forward fold your hips because that's where safe movement comes in. So those are some of the key things to learn about keeping yourself safe when it comes to osteoporosis. So let's move into some standing postures. Finding mountain, the posture of alignment. Look down at your feet. For those of you that have a little bit more of an advanced practice and don't have very many balance challenges, you could let your big toes touch, not your heels. Big toes, because you want that nice alignment. That's the proper alignment coming out of the body. Or you could have your feet where your toes are about 2 feet apart. And then let your body weight go side to side. Feel what happens here in the glute area when you go side to side to the floor. Feel that body weight moving from side to side. And then bring yourself back. Bring yourself forward and back. Forward and back. And feel how your toes grip when you go forward. And then when you go back, your heels, feel how those glutes activate. Forward and back. And then bring yourself centered so you feel your body weight centered. Take your hands down alongside your body. Thumbs are reaching back like hitchhiking thumbs, which will place the shoulder joint deeper in the socket, activate those upper back muscles of posture. Reach down with your hands, push down with your feet. Bring your awareness to your spine, nice and long with your spine, chin parallel towards the ground. Push your head back so your head is on top of your spine. Very active, you're not just hanging out here. Push the top part of your foot into the floor so that the pinky toe, the next toe, next toe, next toe, and big toe are pressing into the ground, and so is your heel on each foot. Reach down with your fingers, long with your spine, up with your heart. This is called Mountain Tadasana. A great posture to find throughout your day. Lengthening your spine, no collapse in the front of the spine here. Pushing your hands back, feel the activation of the upper back muscles. Long neck. Smile. From here, bring your body weight on to one side. Bend the toes. Bring the knee out to the side. Bring the foot up either on top of the foot or in the lower leg in between the ankle and the knee. Push down into the floor with your foot. This is tree posture. Balance. Let your mind go down to your foot. Feel your foot on the ground. Feel the ankle. Feel the other foot pushing into your leg. Reach down and back with your hands, up with your heart, long with your spine. Take one more breath. Bring your knee forward. Bring your foot down slowly. Push your feet down into the ground, hands down, long spine. Moving on to the other side. Bend your toes, knee out to the side, and bring the foot up wherever you'd like. Reach down with your hands, tall with your spine. Bring your awareness down to your foot that you're standing on. All the toes, the top part of the foot, the heel, push it into the ground. And push the opposite leg into the foot into your leg. Find something to stare at that doesn't move. Take one more breath. Bring your legs forward, come back into your mountain. From here, bring your toes together, bring your legs together. Start to bring your low belly towards your top thighs. Push your tushy back. Upper body's coming forward, lower body's moving backwards, bending your hip joint. Lift your toes off the floor if you can here. And then bring your hands forward. Keep your arms straight. This is chair posture. Raise your arms up towards the sky if you can. Bend a little deeper in your legs if you can. Press your heels into the ground to take that tension out of the low back. Belly button towards the spine, tailbone down towards the ground. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Bring yourself back to the mountain, to Tadasana. Notice your heart rate. Keep your mouth closed. Breathe in and out through your nose. And breathe all the way down to your feet. And then let's relax. Shake your legs. Checking in with how you're feeling. So we're going to do a little bit more weight bearing in the hip capsule and also some spinal work as well. So we begin in Tadasana with all the postures. This is the posture of alignment. From here, you're going to take a wide stance. And now we have the opportunity to create bone stimulation in the hip joint from different angles than we're normally in. So this is where I believe yoga is so amazing, is to bring in these forces from so many different places. So the wider stance, if you have balance issues, having a chair or having a wall may be important for you so that you'll go really deep here. Bring your toes off the ground, keep your legs straight, and swivel on your heel into an externally rotated hip joint. The back heel lifts up and moves away, toes are in. Put a slight bend in that front knee. That front knee is moving towards the side that you're facing. And your back pinky toe edge, you make a really firm foundation here. Really grab the floor with the back foot. So you have very firm foot foundation here. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. And as you inhale, push away from the back foot. Let the back arm raise and keep that front hand on that front leg and bend the front leg. Keep the front arm straight. So your body has to go straight down and doesn't go forward. From here, lift your hand up, coming into the warrior two. Push your feet into the floor and lengthen your spine, lower your shoulders, long neck. Push your arms back. Keep reaching with that back arm so that you're growing right out of your torso. Push your feet into the floor, draw that energy up into your body. Take one more breath. You're going to unbend your legs. Bending as deep as appropriate for you. The more you bend, the more forces you bring into your hips and your legs and your muscles and your bones. And do what's appropriate. Toes are forward. Let's go to the other side. Toes are up. Swivel on the heel so the foot moves away from you. And then the back heel moves away from you. Grabbing the floor with the back foot, pinky toe edge really firm. Keep the front hand on the front leg. Slight bend in the leg, and the leg is moving to the side of the whatever this front foot is that you have forward. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. As you inhale, push away from the back. Let the back hand raise. Front arm stays straight. Front leg bends. And when you come to where you're going to be, you lift your front arm off. What's happening to the back arch? Don't let it collapse. So push into the pinky toe edge of that back foot. Push your heels into the ground and bring that energy up into your body. Long spine, long neck. Lower your shoulders. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other, so strengthen those postural muscles. This posture can strengthen our posture. So it is a posture and it can strengthen your posture. Take one more breath. And then unbend, bring yourself out. Let's come back into the Tadasana. Check in with how you're feeling. Was that appropriate? Enough? Too much? Or do you need more next time? So the next posture we're going to come into is triangle. And so you could use a chair or a block for this, or nothing. So getting a chair or a block, coming from mountain into the wide stance. The better alignment you have in your joints when you start to come into these postures, the more forces you could apply to build bones, and the safer you'll be when you do it. So that mountain posture is that posture of alignment. Let's keep that front leg straight. Either have your chair there if you're using a chair, or have a block. You lift the toes up, swivel the toes away, back heels away from you. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. As you inhale, lifting your arms up really high, so stretch that front armpit. Bending that front hip joint. Feel that stretch behind the legs. And then when you can't go any farther, you bring yourself either onto the chair or onto the block. Push into that back pinky toe edge. Activate the arch of the back foot. Tailbone points down towards that back heel. Long spine. Rotate your spine. Take one more breath. When you come up, keep your legs straight, go slow. This is an opportunity to strengthen your core and strengthen your spine as you come back up. Toes are forward, hands in, the block is in this hand. Toes are up, away from you, heel is back and away. And if you need to move the chair, go ahead and move your chair to the other side. The most important part of this triangle posture is that you do bend at your hip when you come down, and not your spine to get down. So this is not about how low do you go. This is about effectively bending at the hip joint to bring yourself down. And that determines whether you need a chair or a block. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale. As you inhale, reaching your hands up, go slow. Slower is harder. Slower is more advanced. And when you can't go any farther, bring your hand onto the floor, hand onto the block. Block on floor, hand on block. And find the posture in your body. Push down with your feet and then long with your spine and rotate your trunk forward. Triangle actually adds some vertebra stimulation because there's a rotational force in the spine in the triangle posture. So we're actually stimulating hip and spine here. And of course, you feel all the stretch behind your thighs. Keep refining the posture the whole time you're in it. Never get there and hang out. Just keep refining, lengthening, bending, pressing. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back up. Coming back into the mountain, the Tadasana. Breathe down to your feet. So we're going to come down onto the ground for our last couple of postures. So gather your strap, your block, and your blanket. Coming down is as important as getting up. So to come down, keep the front of your spine nice and long. You can take a wider stance, lower down into your joints that way, or use a chair or a wall. Coming onto your body, you're going to keep your front spine nice and long, reaching your hands away as you come all the way down onto the ground. And then get your strap. Draw the right leg in, take the strap on the right arch. The intention here is to pull on the pelvis. So you want a straight leg when you do this. You could keep the left leg straight or bent, up to you. Pull the strap down so you feel a really heavy right buttock area. Then firm up the right leg, push the right leg away from you. You need your leg to be straight here. So even if it's away from you here, keep that straight leg. Pull down, push away with the muscles, and now guide the leg towards the wall behind you. Create as much tension as you can behind the right leg, right where the leg attaches to the body. Push the right buttock into the ground, push the leg away from you, and pull the leg strongly towards the wall behind you. Pulling on your pelvis with your hamstrings. Toes are pointing the wall behind you. Sole of the foot is up towards the sky. Active leg. Push the leg away. Pull it towards the wall behind you. Take one more breath. And then slowly bend. Let's bring the left leg up into the air. Strap goes into the arch. Pull the leg down so you feel the heaviness in the left buttock area. Firming up the left leg. Push the left leg away from you with your muscles and now guide the left leg towards the wall behind you. Straight knee. You want to be pulling on the ends of the hamstring muscle, not in the belly of the muscle. So you need to have a straight leg. Pull down, push away, and pull back, creating a lot of tension. Pull down, push away, pull back. And then release. Take the strap off to the side. And grab your block. So we're going to come into a back bend, bridge posture, pushing away from the ground, using the muscles of the back of the body, posture, alignment, fall prevention, spinal health. Push the back of the spine into itself to create bone stimulation in your vertebra. You want to make a shape of a rainbow with your body. So your arms could be bent, straight, or clasped. Up to you, depending on what's going on with you, what your abilities are. Take the blanket away from the back of the body. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Block is between your legs. Walk your feet closer to your body. Tilt the pelvis back so the low back presses into the ground. Push your feet into the floor. Long neck. Exhale. As you inhale, peel your spine up and away from the ground. Don't look side to side here. So close your eyes, feel your body. Push your arms into the ground or bend your arms and press your elbows and upper arm into the ground or clasp if that's appropriate for you. Deep breaths. Squeeze the block, push away from the ground, push your arms into the ground, lift your heart towards your face. Bend your spine into itself. Press the back of the spine into itself. Take one more breath. And then slowly, one vertebra at a time, start to lower your spine, lift your heels off the floor. Lengthen and stretch the lower back as you try to place that down on the ground. Reaching up, get your blanket, put your blanket back under your head. Block off to the side, draw your knees into your chest. And then coming into a happy baby. Hold on behind your hamstrings, pull your knees towards your shoulders. For those of you that are pretty limber, if you could reach your toes from here with wide legs. The legs have to be spread wide to grab your toes. Draw the feet down towards the floor. Last posture of the day is Shavasana. It's the integration. It's being in the zone for your body to build the bones with all that stimulation that was created. So staying connected to your breath is really important here. Stay in this moment, noticing what you notice in your body, lengthening your body. Legs are spread pretty wide here. Toes are flopping to the side. Palms are up towards the sky. Connect to your breath in Shavasana. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Let your awareness go up and down your body, noticing what you notice. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Then drawing the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And all the way onto your side. Using your hand and your elbow to push yourself up. Keep your eyes closed. Come into a seated position. We're going to close the practice. Yoga is a practice of self-care. It's connection of mind, body, and soul. You taking care of you. So let's close the practice with sound. Bringing the hands to the heart. Press the hands to the heart, heart to the hands. Exhale. Inhale. Bowing in gratitude for the opportunity to strengthen, to stretch, to be connected to our body, our bones. Thank you. Namaste. So it's important to pay attention to the practice that you did today and notice what was appropriate for you so that you can modify accordingly, because the goal is to create strong bones and to do it as strong and safely as possible. So finding what your sweet spot is, where you need to be, and each day is different. So making sure at the end of the practice that, yeah, today was a good practice. This was perfect for me. That's what we always want to be at the end of our practice. Like, this is great, I feel great, and feel accomplished as well. All right, so I have a question for you all. I like to label my classes. I'm going to see if I could do a poll. I haven't done one of these in a while. Okay, is this my poll? Poll. Okay, here's my poll. Oh, darn, I can only ask one. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask a question. Oops. So I like to call my practices either strong, stronger, or strongest. Like, slow, medium, fast, or light, medium, hard. So I'm asking you, did it go through? Start Q&A. Okay. I don't know if you could see that, but I just sent this question to see if you could answer that for me. What would you call that? Would you call today's practice, like, what the level of it? Was it strong? Was it stronger, meaning it's a little bit more? Or would you call it strongest, meaning it was pretty strong? I just want to know what you're saying about that. Oh, great, Marianne. I didn't see that before, that you've done my videos and you're very active. I love that. Vivian, nice to see you. I don't know if I've ever met you before. Kathy, nice to see you. Sophia, you're welcome. Jeannie. Yeah, Jeannie, this is more your speed, right? Although yesterday chair class was pretty good, right? I brought some strength in there. Great, Marianne. Thank you. Sharon, thank you. Yeah, Sharon, honestly, her DEXA scan is totally improved from practicing yoga. And she doesn't just do it with me on the mat anymore. She does it in her life all the time, because this is a lifestyle practice. This is something you want to learn here and keep going. So strong, stronger, strongest. So strong would mean you felt it was kind of on the lighter side. Stronger would mean you feel it's medium practice. And strongest would mean that you feel it's a harder practice. In terms of levels. So those are the words. So, okay. All right. Carol, you're welcome. Yeah, this is crazy, right? This is me on COVID. But you know what's really crazy? At the beginning of the practice today, when we did the spinal extension and we did that support, my sinuses felt clear in terms of me breathing here. It's definitely in a deeper place in my head, but it definitely felt clearer here. And I tried not to do too much. So if I were going to term today's class, I would call this stronger. Um, because the seated spinal twist, the Dandasana, the way we did it for a minute. The plank we did for a minute. The bridge at the end we did longer. Warrior two is a lot of hip stimulation, and the triangle. Definitely the mount and the tree, definitely balance and alignment, but not as strong muscularly. Chair is a strong posture as well. So there were 12 postures in today's practice. So let me see. Stronger. Okay, stronger. Yes, Sophia. These videos are recorded. I think I have almost 300. I've been teaching ever since 2020. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Asthma improves after the practices. Yeah, because there is this increase of ability to breathe. That's really true. Okay. So I am starting, if you want to look deeper at your bone health, I have a group program that uses functional labs to look at gut, to look at mineral balances, to look at whether you have proper digestion, gut overgrowth. It's starting now. Signups are now, and the first live is February 7th. This is to go deeper, to look deeper at root causes of bone loss and to do something about it. You get private sessions with me and you get group sessions. Just finished my first group of that. And what the ladies say was, I don't want it to end. It was nice being with other women that are like me. This was so worth the money. And they are on the path of uncovering how the gut relates to bone health. So look on my website. Do I have it on my website? I think we took down the sales page for that. But if you go actually, I think to my homepage, debbierobinson.com, Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones should be on my homepage. It's a 5-month program. We start now. Whenever you sign up, I start ordering labs and you'll have your first protocol with me once I get all the labs back. And then we meet as a group February 7th through the middle of April. And then I'll be with Kathy in Scotland. We're going to Scotland May 1st and May 9th. There's 10 of us going to Scotland. So anyway, I hope today was great for you. And Sophia, keep practicing. If you have osteoporosis, you have to do something about it. And if the doctors are going to recommend medications, and if you want to try to avoid them as long as possible or forever, you need to do something. It's pulling and pushing on your bones and then figuring out what's happening metabolically inside. So doing some deeper work, usually running labs to uncover the why there. Anyway, really nice to be with you guys. So thank you so much. And I'm here 5 classes a week. 3 are osteoporosis. 2 of them you have to sign up through a hospital. This one on YouTube is for anyone and everyone. Share it with whoever you think might benefit. And I hope that you feel good. And try to stay in a nice, relaxed state. Don't go into a stress zone because you want whatever bone building stimulation you just created to be able to build the bones that you're trying to build. So if you go into the stress zone, the body's not going to prioritize building bones. It's going to prioritize making you safe. So try not to be stressed out today. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.